Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Behind the Scenes. My name is Diana Lizrazo, and today's guest speakers are Diana and Jon Benitez. We do this show every Thursday. It will be either Behind the Scenes or Transformation Time. Now, before we get started, I want to share some exciting news with you. I have a social networking platform for the real estate investing industry. So if you're an investor, if you're a mentor, or you're a professional, so those that support and help serve investors from all the way from contractors, plumbers to accountants to realtors, everyone, you are professionals. You want to be on this platform because it will be transforming the way you work. And if you want to learn more about Diana and Jon, they are on REI FAM. So you can go to realestateinvestorfam.com. You can get your profile set up and you can learn more about them. Now back to the show. On Read Behind the Scenes, our guest speakers are here to help you by sharing their journeys on how real estate projects go. So if you guys are ready, let's give Diane and Jon some thumbs up, some fire, some love, and let's get them on the stage. So I may have to cancel the recording because I don't know what's going on. Okay, let me see if that works. And we'll see. While we wait for them to come on, because usually, we got them on. Hey guys, how are you doing?
Good. Can you hear us well?
Yep, I can hear you. Are you
Okay.
hearing me fine? It's okay?
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
We're doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm happy to have you guys on. I'm excited to hear about your project. And before we get started, though, let's just share a little bit about the viewers, who you guys are, what kind of investors are you, how long have you been in, whatever you love to share.
All right. We are Dee and
Jon?
together we're Dijon. We've been investing, I think we started 2019 doing smaller multi-family burrs. We've done working on developments. We've done a flip. We have a short-term rental cottage.
Mhm.
Yeah, and most of our portfolio is in Hamilton, Ontario,
Yeah.
with our cottage up north, just north of Huntsville.
Awesome. Let's get started with talking about this project. So with this project, can you just give us a little bit like what is it and what was the plan with it?
Okay, so this project was a little unique. I'm gonna say it was a silver platter because we we got the property and it was just the shell. So we got permits already, and and it was empty. So we
Well,
basically
and structure ready,
yeah.
structure ready for framing, which is golden. So it's an old single family home, and to completely gut and just get structure ready for framing, like
Yeah, so all the permits for structure were already done, and it was just basically just the shell. So we came in and we pretty much just started framing.
framing it on.
So
And
You were
that
that means you were also able to just start renovations on closing because all the permits were already in place
yeah.
for you.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like that usually waiting for permits is like at least 5 months of burn cost, right? So, and then to be ready straight on framing, that's like,
yeah,
oh,
so yeah,
easy. No,
so the
joking. I don't want to make it downplayed that much.
so the permits.
It's never easy, but it's definitely a nice step forward, right? Like it's just a nice step to start from. Because like you said, permits and waiting for them and even the complications during to get all those stuff done, that in itself is a lot. So it's nice when you can kind of skip a couple steps, right?
Oh,
And
oh
so
yeah, and there was no tenants either, so we saved a lot of time as well.
And we don't, yeah. So it was vacant, ready to go, permits, bang on from framing.
Right.
Yeah, that's amazing. And so so what did you purchase this property at?
550.
550. And how much were you estimating the profit, sorry, the renovations to be?
300. Yeah.
300,000?
And
And
we're good. We did have to eat into contingency things that were vetted with the city that they were okay. Well, inspector changed. They have a different opinion. And we have to go back to the drawing board, and we're talking about the back
Metal
back
stairs.
metal stairs, which is a huge cost.
ooh, outside
Yeah,
stairs. Yeah.
we were able to get creative because it asks for metal, which is expensive, but we were able to figure this out. And with the lot lines and how far you have to be to the lot lines, the where we got and landed in the middle was what is it, steel posts, and
Yeah.
we'll be making out of wood.
It had to be
Just
non-combustible legs, and we're going with you could say it's a hybrid. So
hybrid.
we're going with metal legs and lumber for the rest.
Yeah, that helped us save like what, $8,000.
Yeah,
So
And so
8,000.
curious, Savannah, what was because I'm thinking the drawings then had stairs with wood stairs, or no material was
so there's a
decided at that time. Did you guys freeze? Oh, you froze
no one should.
for a second, but I see you guys now. So I don't know if did you hear my question?
Yeah, it's because there were metal stairs here, but they were, to old standards. They again, we were told that if you reinforce it, you're good. Well, the story changed, right? As the inspectors changed, so we have to pivot. And so we
And even
made
I feel like with times changing, no? I feel
yeah,
like I think after COVID, I don't know why, or maybe just so much renovation. I've also seen the same thing that it's like they've become a lot more strict. I feel like on things that you're just kind of like really like you said, it was fine and now it's not. It's like you saw it, but now it's not.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It was a curveball for us, but
Well, and that's why you have that contingency in
yeah,
there
yeah,
in the budget. So
all good.
And
We
so,
we
how
we
much
love.
did that? Sorry, what you were saying?
No, I'm just saying we're all good. We love our inspectors, so that's another thing too. You got to be their friends. Yeah, you got to be their
Yeah,
friend.
100%.
Yeah.
And so with it, so how much, let's say, oh yeah, because actually the big stairs you were probably thinking to do fixing. So how much extra did it end up costing you, do you think, guesstimate?
20,000. Yeah.
$20,000? Yeah. And and then okay, so then the stairs were one of the things that the inspector said that they need to change. What other kind of things right, did you have any other kind of things that happened in the property?
I think the roof. Why is it
Yep.
always the damn roof?
Yep. The roof.
Because the roof was done, I thought it was all good, but then
But what we didn't see was the parts that you couldn't see on the roof. They didn't do. So it was a good thing we hopped on there with my roofer, and he's just like, John, you got to come take a look at this. So that was a little bit of a surprise.
yeah, what was that? A 6,000, 8,000 something, 7,000 surprise?
Yeah.
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 So
And
So
and for that, what made you guys even go up there? Was it during inspection of the house that you, like before you acquired the property, or like what made you guys go on the roof and then realize that this was something that needed to be fixed?
so I called in my roofer just to do a specific job.
Mhm.
is it
It was
capping or something?
Yeah, it was just capping, and because we just you want water away from the home. So he came in here. He's like, okay, no problem, and then he hopped on the roof just to tie in, because that's what roofers do, safety first, right? And then he saw he saw behind him that there wasn't any shingles. So it's a good thing that we saw it, because we could have had water damage after this brand new unit was complete. So it's a good thing that we catch all these surprises while everything is
And like
you're
you
not at.
said, it's better to have those surprises, to be honest, while you're doing renovations. Because something that I want to bring up, since you guys have brought it up, and I think it's so important for people, because I don't know why they do this, is that for some reason they're like, oh, roofs are so expensive. In your case, it's different because it's just like found out. They expected the roof to be fine. But a lot of people who actually in inspection find out that the roof is a problem,
I know.
and they do not put the money to it. They say like, oh, maybe we'll put it off to next year, the year after. And we've actually seen people that have done that. And like you said, the unit gets ruined because maybe you're doing renovations during the winter, and then all of a sudden things start thawing out or it starts raining. And then the whole unit gets destroyed. And now you're spending all that money that would have went anyway to the roof, or half of that money went to the roof. Now it's going back to that unit again. I just want to share that. I've seen people do it, especially newer investors, where they're like, inspection report will literally say you got to get the roof changed, and like, oh, that's like $10,000. You know what? I'd rather put $10,000 into the house interior of the house instead. And it's just like, don't do it.
Yeah.
It's funny. Every project, the roof has always been the surprise,
So,
right?
yeah, so-
we see water coming.
So what we've learned is that it may look brand new, but you can see that there's layers of shingles. So what they do is we've come across this a few times where the previous seller will just put on new shingles on top. So
Not fix the foundation, which is,
Well,
you
yeah,
always gotta get to the root of the problem.
and then you're just like, oh, I thought this was a brand new roof, but it wasn't done properly to begin with. So it just takes one nail. It just takes one improper installation, and you're gonna get water coming in somehow. So that's why, yeah, it's always good to have a roofer on your team to check it out.
Yeah, I agree. And it's funny you say that. It's been the same for us. We always, every house we go to do an inspection, we always get a roofer to go. We'll just do interior, because like you said, it's just like you don't want to sacrifice on something stupid happening. We have the same thing. Person said they got the roof done, it was new, it looked new. The shingles were new,
Yeah.
but in our case, what they did is again they just went over top. But
See?
the problem was the water damage was so bad that our roofers are walking to check, because we need to check other areas because they only fixed one area, and they almost actually fell through. So imagine during inspection, they almost fell through the house because the wood was just so wet and so rotten, I guess, that it was just like barely clinging on. So it's just like it's so important. I feel like, oh, we get a roofer in there, especially because they're gonna price it out. I mean, it's free anyway. As in, like, the quote is free. You just go there, get them to do the quote, see if it's worth it,
Yeah.
and at least because like that, to me, I feel like if anything, the exterior is so important, because it's like if the exterior is not done properly,
Yeah.
your interior is what gets sacrificed.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that because you're gonna spend all this time and money,
Money.
construction on a
Inside.
brand new unit inside, and then you're gonna have water damage. So it's always good to just check it out first.
Yeah, especially like you say, because you guys are spending 300,000, depending if it's like, let's say, a two-story, it could be the unit up top and the bottom. It's like you may have me spend maybe 50 grand because of like
Yeah.
how bad the issue would be.
For
So it's
sure.
just like that, paying attention to those kind of things, which I don't know if newer investors for some reason don't or something, but it's just like the roof is very important. Just spend the money.
Very important.
It's important. It's important. We live in Canada. We have all the elements, right? So, that's the good thing about doing the renovations and being on site.
But
So you get
yeah.
to see the elements hitting your property.
But it's true. Remember, roof always gets like, I don't know, sidetracked, but keep it always in there, budget for it. Yeah, bring the roofer on it, and one you trusted know to your inspection.
100%, 100%. Yeah, I'm glad you guys brought that one up, because that one's always something that it gets me, as you can tell, very passionate, right? I'm like, guys, don't forget about the roof.
No, you're right. You're right. You got to bring it up.
Yeah.
Any other problems that you encountered or challenges that you encountered on your project?
Uh, like just always we have to make sure an active job site is security.
Yeah, security.
Like, so, we beef things up because it's happened to us a project before where we got broken into and all the copper got stolen. So, we make sure that the HVAC system, which we use,
Yeah, so we get
we raise them up high,
so our condensers, they're all elevated. They're all 8 feet high.
higher than that.
Actually higher on this building.
Yeah, make sure you have floodlights everywhere, cameras everywhere.
Yeah. So when you start your renovations, brighten up the place. Spend the money on very, very bright floodlights. Get cameras on there. So that means you got to get internet. So get your internet in there. Because when you have those, that will deter people from coming. Because if you don't, they're coming in. and they watch the building, so you got to be careful. So security is important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and actually never thought that. I guess you're saying when there's new furnaces coming in, you just have them elevated and so like everything is inspected, or why have them so high? What was it?
Because
So we use heat pumps, so it's the compressors, and so they're outside because those steal the copper that's in there.
don't take it
Oh,
apart. And
okay, okay. Oh, that's funny. I never thought of
Yeah.
that.
I mean, if we have time for a tour, we could show, but yeah.
Yes, and some of these things I think also just become a learning experience during like the experiences that you have, right? Because some things that like we also actually have cameras in ours, but it's funny that you say it because we do it more for the tools getting stolen. For some reason, we've been worried more about like the tools. I don't know if it's like because the material gets put in space and hidden or something. I'm not sure. But for us, it was more mainly for the tools because literally we even have one camera that would be like in the room looking at the tools kind of a thing.
Oh,
Whereas like you have other cameras on the exterior, but it was just like also looking at the tools. Um, and for us, it was actually the Sudbury, I guess, is another place. It wasn't one of ours. We were doing a favor for a friend. But it was like the basement would always get, oh, I think that's what it was. The basement would always get broken into. But the thing is, that was like the only place where you could put the tools, especially like all the bigger things.
Mhm.
So then we had to have a camera specifically there just to make sure that they wouldn't steal those things because that was like their entry point for breaking in.
Yeah.
And even talking about that, actually, when you're speaking of cities where, let's say, people breaking in is more common, because that is like, I feel like something like that. Thinking like Hamilton, you do see a lot of that, like homeless people, like will go in if they can't have a place and kind of want to live there and stuff. What kind of things you guys do any of the things that you do to help kind of prevent that? Even let's say once after like the renovations are done and maybe you're going to start tenanting. Like, curious if you guys do anything. Because I personally tried to stay away from those ones. I actually don't. I'm like, now I'm like, let me give me some tips, just in case. Sometimes there's some good deals where you kind of can't let them go, right?
The big concern though, because once the tenants are in, we don't have issues.
No,
It's really because they know it's vacant. They know that there's
it's
like
I think the
the
most
copper. They want to get to the
yeah,
copper.
it's the copper, right? So the your my anxiety goes down when drywall is up.
Yeah.
Because when drywall is up, it's covered, it's more work for them. They don't know where anything is. So they're in there to get either to get money, so copper obviously, or just it's just a place to
Yeah.
stay.
Once the tenants are in it, it's
You,
fine. But
you
and
just
we always leave the cameras though. They're on the exterior.
you just what, just think ahead. Always think 2 steps ahead. That's
Mm-hmm.
what we do.
A big
Hmm.
tip that I learned from someone else is if a unit is empty, just always check up on it once in a while.
Yes.
Because I've heard
Yes.
people where, and I've had it, not people breaking it, but I've had units where they've been about 6 months vacant because I just couldn't find someone to live in there that could meet the qualification.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and then, for example, like in cities that they do squatting and things like that, it's like checking up on it regularly. Because sometimes, even though you have other tenants in there,
Yeah.
they may not actually tell you people are squatting.
Yeah.
So it's just like always, having an
Yeah.
extra, like, fine, your neighbors may tell, or your, like, people may tell you, but just in case if they don't, doing that regular check or having at least, like, your property manager, someone doing that regular check is something that I know someone else who said they had an issue where they had someone living there
Yep.
and actually didn't even know. So they had to go through an eviction process for them, I think. I assume they had to go through that because they had a squatter there. So it's like when you're going into those kind of cities where that happens, it's like feel like you always have to, like you said, when it's empty, I think it's you have to like worry about it or just be a little bit more cautious about things.
Yeah, especially if you're waiting for permits or if it's vacant for a long time, spend the money, get a property manager, spend the money to get someone to check up on it every night because you just never know, like, you just never know who's going to be, breaking in or living there. So just have eyes on the building.
Well, and also we've had instances where like trades left it unlocked.
Yeah.
Right.
So you're,
So sometimes we have to come back and double check,
yeah.
or we let them know it's on you.
Yeah, so you paint the picture, let your contractors know that, you're responsible for the security of the building. But
You're the last one.
if you're the last one to leave, you got to make sure that it's, locked up. I have my team come in at night too, just to make sure everything is all locked up.
Yeah,
So
we have people that check it.
just never know. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's another great point, actually, that you guys have indirectly said is showing that you guys care by letting them know, kind of letting the contractors, the workers know what are the rules around things. Because I also noticed if you kind of like leave the contractors or the workers to their own device, they don't take it as seriously as you do. Like they may be like, oh, whatever, like
Mhm.
if you, like you said, like they accidentally leave it, they won't care because you don't care, or like you're not showing that you care. And that's another thing I noticed. A lot of people put a lot of faith on their contractors. And the thing is, they work. I feel like I've noticed that generally, things that I hear is like they'll work to the level that you want them to work. So if they show that you want to make sure this is like done properly, and I don't know, like getting things done, like you said, like making sure that the certain rules of health are being done and whatever, they abide by that. Or for example, even time wise, right? If you're like, this needs to be done by this time and you show the importance of it, like they make sure that they get it done. But if you don't show things like that and you kind of like leave them to their own device, they'll be like, oh, you know what? I have this other project, for example, going on, and this one too. And do like 2 days here, 2 days there, and then all of a sudden your project that maybe was supposed to be 3 months turns into 6 months because they didn't know how important it was. Or for example, they didn't know the kind of style of renovations you wanted, or just like that. Maybe there are people that just don't check up on things, but if you show that importance that you need to be making sure that door is locked, because for example, in a city that like robbing or squatting happens a lot more, then it's like you just have to be like showing that that's also important
Yeah.
to you, because then they'll take it seriously.
Yeah.
So I think that's
That's why, and we have very good relationships.
You got to have a great relationship with all of your contractors.
Yeah, good communication.
All of
good
them.
communication. Yeah.
All of them. Make sure, like all of them, all the contractors, even when if you hire a new contractor, get on site, talk to them, get to know them. You just have to have that relationship with everyone, so you don't have, you can prevent all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Any tips specifically, let's say for hiring contractors, or just like what to look for? Any tips that you've learned along the way of scouting? Because you said also, I don't know if you said, but you told me privately that you haven't seen me. But anything like that you've learned from the past
Have
that helped you to just bring in the right people?
Yeah, so when we were doing our 8 unit, when we were in the beginning building our team. I would take three per trade. So take three per trade, and then just paint the picture of the vision, and let them know that, what we do is we look for team members. We don't look for a contractor where you're just going to do this one job and you're going to leave for the rest of your life and we're never going to see you. No, we look for people that, share the vision and share, that want to work with us, be on our team, because, this is not the only project we're working on. And, just paint that picture and they'll understand where you're coming from. And, it sucks that you have to do a sales pitch, but that's what you have to do, because I'll tell you right now from experience, if you got 5 contractors, one of them is going to show up. One of them will be your best friend, and one of them you'll share a good relationship with, and they'll see your vision. So that's what we've been doing, and that's why our team is, so loving.
Loving.
They care about us. We care about them. We have lunch, we buy coffee, like, whenever we take care of them as much as we can.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you have to paint that picture.
Yeah, and also like you get a sense too by responsiveness.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's how you can get a good sense too. And also we're really big on vibe. Like it's gotta be a good connection too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So yeah, we do.
We're
agree with
all
all your
yeah.
points. There's such good points, because even like you said, with that communication or making sure they understand the vision, you're also basically finding out if you guys have similar values, for example. Because I've seen that happen with me, not exactly with contractor, but with partners, where for me, like uh, I, the value was that quality was really important for me. Like I need to make sure this was done very well. But they're do with quantity. It was all about like, I just need to get X number of properties a year. And for me, it was not ever about that. And then so we had like conflicts in that sense because like they didn't care about the quality of the jobs. It was just like, just get them going, just go, 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 right? So it's like you said, that vision, painting that vision helps even to for them to know, like, do I want to do something like this or not? Because there are many different types of contractors out there. Like some, for example, love doing that high-end quality job, and then you're like, it's just a rental property, you know? Like we don't need to go full on out, right? And then there's others where like they love to do just like having standards, certain standards, and then it's always the same thing. You know, it's like making sure that you know at many different levels the kind of like that people you want around and them understanding what it is that they're working on so that they themselves know, is this the kind of project I want to be a part of or not?
Yeah. Oh, seriously. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Amazing. Any other things that you guys wanted to talk about, or specifically, let's say, anything like on the lending side, or with, or like that, like contractor relationships type things that you want to talk about?
Yeah, we can talk about it. We can talk about it. Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's just one thing that I enjoy, and
Well, you're fine. Oh, yeah, sorry.
yeah, and you know, I think that's one of the main reasons why this project is going smooth because of the relationships we have. Um, you know, like we're transparent, right? I ask for that up front as well. Like, you know, if you're going through a tough time, let me know because we understand. So yeah, one thing too is when the contractor has completed their job, just say, hey, like, let's go through everything. Because, you know, like some contractors are not used to that, where they finish their job, they just jump to the next. But it's good to, you know, go over their job, right? And then, you know, that's when you just shake hands and say, you know what, I'm going to be I'm letting you know that your information, your contact will be spread out from our end. So, you know, they're happy, we shake hands. And I think that's one of my favorite parts is when you do hire a contractor, you're building that relationship. That handshake at the end and it's completed is just like huge. Now you have a new team member that's going to take care of you. So that feels really good. It's, you know, when you get that, you know, that it's like satisfaction, right? So now
And
you
even
move on to
just
the
like
next project.
showing your appreciation to them, right? And even the little things that you're saying, like grabbing them coffees and stuff, showing the appreciation that they're valued members on the team does really go a long way. And as you guys do this, and maybe a tip for you guys, something that we also do is like that, like those kind of things are big, big projects. And in some cities, for example, when you're doing big projects, sometimes it also bothers the neighbors, too much noise, too much dust, too much whatever. We literally will go to our
Yeah.
neighbors before anything starts, give them a gift, let them know that we're starting it, give our number so we're the first level of contact to before going to the city, you know, like let's resolve it together.
Yes.
Because before we're like pissing each other off just because no communication's happening. So that's something that I felt like
Oh, that's
really helped
huge.
out. Like you're saying, with the teams is so important. But we also do it with the neighbors. Well, we even give them like a gift and just be like, hey, a little bottle of wine, doing a project, and kind of giving them like a little, it's going to take 6 months, let's say, and this is like our plan. And then the phone number, right? Like, here, take the phone number
Yes.
so you can talk to us.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I forgot about that because
Done that in the
our
beginning.
8 unit, yeah, they had our phone numbers. They were so helpful. When we didn't have water, the neighbors are letting them use their water
Yeah.
for the contractors. And again, that's building that really good relationship
Yeah,
where
Mhm.
because yeah, you want to build the relationships as well. So what I do is the first thing I do is when we hit a property, you know, we look at the neighborhood, and then I just introduce myself to, you know, everyone around us because, you know, and I let them know that, you know, the construction's going to start on this day. And then yeah, like every time we're out there, you know, getting deliveries, you know, I'll say hi to them, and you know,
and they
just
help. They've been helping us out.
yeah,
They help us out.
help us out as well.
Mhm.
Like you
Mhm.
know, I have one neighbor that's got eyes on the building too. But just
Mhm.
one neighbor wanted some wood, no problem. So yeah, just you need that, right? Because if you're doing construction and You know what I mean? They don't want to hear the loud noises and but it can be a hassle.
Yeah, and all the contracts that come here and go. John's had to stop some fights, you know, but it's with like
Oh
people
yeah,
skills,
same
he's
thing.
calming everybody down.
Yeah. And that's actually another good point is something that me and my husband do, and it sounds like you guys probably do a very similar thing, is that the first level of contact, my husband has a renovation business, is my husband. So we give my husband's number. But then if it gets to a point, because we've had it once happen, where they're just getting bothered. And we can't, like, my husband can't seem to, like, please these people. But since I am not really ever there, I come in and I'm coming in as someone they've never seen. And so I'll come in, or maybe they've met me maybe once only, but I'm not really there. Like they have more of the relationship with my husband. But then it's kind of nice because usually if I'm coming in and they're telling me the problem, they're coming from the very beginning and they're talking to me in a different sense because they don't have the anger with me, they have the anger with the contractor. And so usually that's also kind of like I feel like a second level of help is like if if the people on site or the people that see the most they can't get it because like that sometimes you also build too much of a bond and then things get heated more because you have that closeness of the bond and like that usually happens with my husband. It's like they'll have like a bond but then like that we had this one time where it's just like he couldn't seem to make them happy. He tells me he's like something like he's getting angry. Like I can tell like he's not happy with what's going on. So I ended up going, talking to them, and we ended up getting it fixed up, and they were fine again. Never got mad again. So it's like sometimes that second person to talk to is also very helpful in just making sure that the project goes well and to like reduce that tension. Because maybe you think like they just don't get it. They don't get me. Where it's like, okay, let's come in a second pair of ears to hear it out and try to find a solution.
Yeah, that's exactly what we were all talking about was the transparency with everyone, right?
That's amazing. And and so with what you've done so far with the renovations, so just for the so far it's been an extra expense and stairs. Is there anything else that were unforeseen costs at the moment? Because you're still in renovations, right? You're like we're halfway or more than
And
halfway.
I'd say we're installing doors and trim and now just boxing up the bulkheads
Mm-hmm.
so that kitchens are coming next week. And it's all the finishing parts now. It's fun.
Finishing.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys are like halfway. Yeah, everything inside the walls are done.
About halfway.
Mm-hmm.
That's about halfway. Yeah.
More
So
than
so
halfway.
so far, so far, then no. Those are the only extra expenses you've seen, and hopefully no more.
Okay.
Well, yeah,
Oh yeah, like, and then things are higher than what we thought. Like like we have to have fire shutters. They increase the price. It's like, oh my gosh, for real. Just
Mhm.
things like that, right?
Yeah. Or that's actually a good point that you say that because that is true with our fluctuating environment. We went through that in 2021 where I think we were just doing one of these with materials. But it's like you said, you get a quote and they tell you it's one price, but then with longer projects that are around 6 months to a year, like even 3 months can make a difference, 4 months
Yeah,
can make a
big.
difference. And then you're just like, oh, what happened?
I know. I was like, the shutters went up like $300 each times six.
Mhm.
No, we did talk about that. The stairs already. Yeah.
yeah, I know with the two quotes of the lumber.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
But
So
yeah,
you
so
have
that,
two
that's
different
it.
quotes
Sometimes
for the
things.
stairs.
Yeah, well, we talked about that. How if we did metal stairs, I think that would have cost like 35.
no, it was very interesting to get two quotes. So one was like all metal, and then one was all
The height.
lumber. And you would think that it's metal, it's more expensive, but it's actually very, very close in price now. So it's pretty.
Oh,
It's
interesting.
interesting to see that now. You know what I mean? Just because lumber has spiked up, right?
Yeah, that is actually interesting. I thought there would still be a big difference. You're right. That's interesting.
What was a big? I mean, you know what? In the end, we went with the hybrid model too. It'd been faster too to build.
Yeah.
Also, it's more time frame wise. that made you decide to do the hybrid model?
Too, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of, and another thing too, if you're building, another thing you got to look at too, if you're building stairs out of lumber, there's going to be, you have to use custom. There's got to be custom. There's custom work involved, and then you got to get it pressure treated, right? Because obviously it's
That's yours.
the elements, yeah. So that these sizes that we have, they don't sell them on the shelf at Home Depot. So that's another thing you gotta, your contractor will know. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, good. Yeah, that's a great point. And that being said, also, how are you on time? Like, are you just able to maintain it, or like a month behind? Or
And you're probably about a month behind. We had because we started, it was like our first month, we had to kind of change things up. We had a contractor who thought we were going to kind of be working with, and that didn't work through. So had to do some shuffling. It was also right after the holidays. So we didn't really get the ball starting until like a month later. So that threw us for a curveball. Yeah. But then I think everything else has been.
I think we caught up.
Yeah.
Time. Yeah.
What's been the delay too? Well, because of the stairs, because they had to do the stairs, we had to get now permits for that. And in the city of Hamilton,
permit for the stairs?
yeah, and that's taking a while because there was a cyber attack at the city of Hamilton. So there's a lot of things are manually done and manually submitted. So that's taking a bit longer. But we should be getting those soon, and like the crew's ready to go. They're just waiting. Yeah, and so which is
So this has a piece of the stairs that it's exterior, so it's like technically they can still overlap, with other projects. I feel like the worst is like you're doing the wall, like you're doing the interior plumbing and electrical. There's a delay there that delays your drywall people, right? And then the drywall people delay your kitchen people or the flooring, and then just get this compound. Whereas at least so far you haven't dealt with that kind of delay then. 'Cause I feel like stairs are outside, so it's like they can be done at any point, kind of, right?
Yeah, any point, but what our goal though is, and everybody knows it, because it's for access to the top unit. It's like, get that unit done. So everyone's working on getting that top done.
Also, the top, it's only accessible from the outside.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Also, the top then is still to the side then.
Pardon?
It's still the top is only sides, like hasn't been the
Oh, it's all
electrical
done.
plumbing.
Everything's
Done.
all, yeah, but we're
Okay.
focusing on that first, getting the bathroom tile done. Kitchen is gonna get installed there next Tuesday. Getting that one done first so that when these stairs are gone,
Oh,
it's.
okay, got it. You're wanting to get it done because you're going to lose the stairs,
Yeah.
so it doesn't delay you. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, and that's where even like that strategy really comes in, right? It's like you see these kind of things come up, and like you said, 'cause, how long will the permits take to come, and then when can you get the stairs done? And then all of a sudden that unit just doesn't get done because you didn't prioritize like you guys did. Or it was like, okay, let's try to get it done quickly, so it gets done, and then here's when the stairs come in.
Exactly.
To
So
an extent, right?
everyone's on board with that and they know it, like, Annie,
Yeah,
done.
yeah. That's nice. And so what were, because you said that you actually had a previous contractor. So what kind of issues did you have with your previous contractor that you had to switch them up?
I think there was no issues. It was just more of like personal reasons. Yeah.
Well, and like it was, as John, responsiveness,
Yeah.
right? Like, when we needed things on a certain day, like we couldn't hear from them or whatnot. And it's like, we can't work like this.
No.
Yeah.
We're just have to cut times. Yeah.
So responsiveness is like step one, like the back and forth. You can gauge it, you can feel it, like you can feel the responsiveness. So that's one that if you're 101, if you're looking for a contractor, right? So responsiveness is like step one. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And even like kind of what you're also saying is whatever your needs are. Because let's say for example, for new investors, or not even, I feel like yeah, newer investors because they may not know the renovation side. And I feel like as investors, usually we need to know a lot of the different areas to understand. Like you do kind of have to speak the language of the lawyers. You do have to speak the language of the accountants. You do have to speak the language of the contractors at a certain level. So we do, I would say we know more than the general public would, just because it's like if this is our job, we need to understand it in more detail. And so I feel like that's something that I feel like also newer investors usually don't think about is that finding contractors that will answer your questions. Because a lot of contractors, I feel like, especially on the retail side, where they don't deal with investors. It's like they're in and out. You know, they get the work done and then it's done, but they're not really people that want to like answer your questions or explain things to you. They're just like come in and out. And then I'll have people like, I don't understand why it's getting done or why you need to do this or that. And then it's just, I'll be like, ask them. And like, I did, but they don't want to. And it's just kind of like, you got to find another person. Cause like that communication, especially at the level of the type of work that we're doing, where it's like, we do need a higher level of understanding than maybe the general person would need.
Mhm.
So it's like it's so many levels that communication is important, especially when you're new coming in. When you're coming in, it's like you really are going to be such kind of like a curious kid, right? You're just like, oh, why do you do this? Like, why is that happening? You kind of want to understand even like when you do different types of flooring, for example, like for luxury to whatever, like basement to upstairs, you know, like for flooding, you know, so many different reasons for why you put certain different level floors, for example. But it's like that understanding becomes important for budgeting and just understanding how to just doing the right kind of renovations you need for the right kind of strategy you're going to be getting into.
Yeah. Well, and that's why, as John mentioned, it's important they understand the vision, because we also like sometimes they've been so helpful too on like letting us know, hey guys, I think you should do it this way, because they understand our budget and our scope, and like maybe we didn't see it.
Mhm.
So we brainstorm together, and they help us think of creative
Better
solutions
solutions,
to help us
yeah.
with our bottom line, but not sacrificing quality.
Mhm.
That's what happens. That's when when you have a really good relationship and they understand the vision and what we're doing and the bottom line and our numbers. So being transparent.
Yeah, it's huge because as investors, you're not your typical client for the contractor. You're a different kind of client because, as investors, you have a budget and that's what you work with. Where
Mhm.
they'll have some clients where it's like, okay, here's the keys, finish it off, give me the keys when you're done. So you know what I mean? So like that's why it's always good to be transparent.
Yeah, like every dollar matters.
Exactly. That's something that I think for investors, right? It's like money and time is very important. Right?
Right.
Even with like a retail client, they don't think about it. Like, I mean, not that they don't think about it, but they don't ever talk about it like, oh, a bathroom takes a month. Okay. Like, that's not normal. 2 weeks and that's it. Get that done, you know?
Yeah.
Right? It's like we have timelines and budgets you have to go through. Or like that, where it's like a retail client will be like, ooh, I want to spend money on like this amazing, beautiful toilet. And we're just like, just standard, functional, working, like hopefully environmentally friendly. Like, it's like completely different views, right? It's like, we don't care that it has like all these extra buttons.
Yes. Yeah.
Any other final comments related to the project that you wanted to share or like a sum of it?
I don't know. I feel like we talk forever, but I'm like,
I know.
I can think of. Yeah, you know what? It is. It's a lot of work. There's a lot of intricacies, especially here too. We're taking this. There's separate water meters that everybody has, right? Separate electrical meters, and timing is all key. And so it's like a big orchestra. Really, I feel like we're like a maestro.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. And did you guys do the separate water meters and stuff? You did that already, or that came like that?
Almost done. Yeah, we had to do that. Separate water meters. Yeah.
Oh,
Separate
nice.
punch. Yeah. Hydrometers. Yeah.
Yeah, which is really nice to have something like that because no one will ever fight about the bills except their own bill.
Yeah. And it lowers the expenses, right? So that
Mhm.
it increases the cash flow.
And so,
Yeah.
how much was that around for you to get? Because it's 4 units, right? Did you get 4 meters or 5 meters?
4 meters and then a house. You have a house meter.
For me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's like to upgrade the water line was 3,500, and then you call the city, and I think each of those meters are 450 each.
Mhm. Mhm. It was just the water meter? Did you do the electrical panel,
Yeah,
like separate electrical?
separate electrical as well. Electrical, how much did that? I mean, that was just our like, and that's so the beauty is our partner's father's electrician,
Mhm.
so we got to pay like a cost there.
Yeah.
Or not so crazy expensive, right?
Family
Yeah.
discount.
And you did
Yeah.
the gas, you did water, gas, and
gas is all we have for gas is this, just the stoves, which cost like $50 a month for the 4 units. So gas is on us. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, nice. But isn't the furnaces also
No,
gas? Or is that a?
just the heat pumps, so it's
Oh,
electrical.
yeah, you said heat pump.
Yeah,
Oh,
for
yeah,
heating and cooling. We've been doing that on all of our projects.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to stay, right?
Yeah. So because of the electrical load counts, we have to put the stove on gas.
Mm-hmm. So curious, actually, because I've never installed heat pumps on any of mine. What do you guys? How
Contractor
do you guys?
here. Sorry.
Oh, pardon?
I mean, our
Go ahead.
contractor.
No, she was
Sorry.
asking
Yes.
something.
Sorry.
It's okay. I was just saying, curious on your opinion of the heat pumps. How have you been liking it? Like any reviews on it? Because I don't have any on any of mine actually. I was
Mhm.
curious on what you do. You think anything different of it, or you just more of the? Because I know you get an incentive for installing them. It's more for that aspect.
No, it was more of a for efficiency as well,
Yeah.
and cost as well. So,
It's cheaper.
yeah, like it's like such a huge savings as well. Because when you go ductless venting, it depends on the look you want. Because you can do ductless fits, but I prefer ductless. We use the ductless venting system, so it saves you lots of
So if you
time.
could show, it's like here. Oh, these are the heat pumps. Here. Oops, there you go. The air handler, yeah. And
And
that's
then
all electrical, and then the compressors are outside, which I was saying we raise them up high so that no one has access to
And
steel.
yeah, and like the tenant has access to air conditioning and heat, right? So
Yeah.
it's convenient.
Yeah, and
Very
it's
convenient.
electrical, so they're all billed separately to them.
Yes,
And space too, right? Versus furnaces, it takes up a lot more space,
it does.
right? Like where this component is, it's actually up there
Yeah.
in the ceiling
Yeah.
where they put the heat pump. Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, so it's in the ceiling, and then
We'll box it.
condensers are on the wall still, right?
That's yeah, it's outside.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, since I've never actually. So it's actually. So you guys. Sorry. Say it again. So why do? So you guys like them for what? It's cheaper and what other things you said?
Efficiency, electrical, it's electrical, which we get separate meters that each of the tenants pay for on their own.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Oh,
space.
that's cool.
We get more
Mm-hmm.
space too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, yeah, because I know a lot of people are starting to move in that direction. And but I think it's also, would you have done it if it was already an existing house? Um, with like, let's say if you have to do minimal renovations, or like, would you still done it in that if it's already like,
I think,
yeah.
yeah, because then we would have been able to easily like build electrical separately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not then too hard, I don't know if you know, but it's not too hard to install it in. Like it doesn't make too much of a. Because for example, like that, like if you're putting in a new furnace, and there's no duct work, like you're putting a stucco inside the walls. It's a lot of work. Is it like similar for the heat pumps?
You mean, sorry, you mean if
The
you
duct,
install
or
first?
like or that duct work is also for the HVAC furnace.
Yeah, it's for that too. Because we don't like, because you can either do the heat pumps or you do the ductless splits, but the ductless splits are just really costly. Like each of, those heads,
Yeah.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
You have
yeah.
to put a head in each room and they're so efficient, but you need one in each room. Where the heat pumps, it's electrical and then you vent them.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's why it's
Okay.
more efficient, right?
Yeah.
Where if you get
We
it
have a unit where we did the heat pumps
right,
and it cost like, what was the difference? It's like, it cost like 30,000 more to do the
it's a little.
ductless splits.
It's a little, according to our HVAC guy, it's a little excessive when you're just putting a head in a room.
A bedroom, you
A
put one
bedroom,
head in a
yeah,
bedroom.
because like that, a head can power up a whole unit.
Oh,
So it's better. Yeah.
But by
So
code, you can't do that. You have to have a head per unit.
yeah. So that's why it's more efficient and you save a lot when you do ductless venting.
mm-hmm. That's interesting. That's cool. Yeah, it's good to know. Thanks
Yeah,
for
we've
sharing that information. I know you guys have an event coming up soon, right?
Oh, yes.
yes, we do. Yeah.
What is your
Next,
event? Tell us a little bit about your
yes,
event.
next Friday. Next Friday, be there. It's the second annual Sunlit Gala. And it's, you know what? It's bringing the community together. It's networking, but in style. We're gonna have fun, dinner, drinks, dancing, and really big and important initiative for us is to give back.
Yeah.
So proceeds of the ticket sales and the raffles that we're going to do, we are donating to Habitat for Humanity. This year we are partnering with Hamilton. And they're going to be on site that day, so we'll learn more about our contribution. And you know what? It's funny. It comes at the most perfect time. Next Friday is the start of summer. We feel like, there's kind of a shift and change, in the market and boost people's spirits back up. I think for any investor, if you've ridden that wave, it's been challenging. It's been challenging. And what's important is always to stay connected, stay positive, be in good energy, surround yourself with the right energy and the right people and abundance to just keep lifting you up. And when we are together and we lift each other up, this is when we all rise, and literally also helping people in need that need affordable housing and keeping families together. So good times, good people for a good cause.
And helping sponsorships like shine, like helping
our sponsors shine.
helping all businesses that we put them on a pedestal when they're there so that they shine and they can gain more business. So we love helping people. We love helping everyone, and everyone that comes, I'm pretty sure a conversation is going to change your life. So you don't want to miss this one.
Mm-hmm. And you can get tickets at www.sumlit.org. Use promo code GiveBack10, our gift to you. And yeah, it's next Friday, 7:00. And it's located it's a beautiful venue by the airport. It's so fun. You were there last year, right?
The same location?
Yeah,
Same
same
location?
location, but we got a better venue. We got the upstairs.
The upstairs? Oh, nice, nice,
More
yeah.
spacious.
No, it's definitely fun, and like you said, yeah, definitely being around the right people is so important for so many different reasons. Like you said, for support, for finding those partners, for getting inspired. So yeah, I think it's going to be an exciting event. And so thank you guys for coming on. It was so much fun to have you guys on. If you guys love what you've heard, they're going to be tagged, so you'll be able to get the link. If you want to go to the event, you'll be able to DM them. If you want to reach out, or even if you just want to see what they're up to, they'll be tagged on here, and you'll be able to see that. If you love what you see from me, then definitely follow me too. Thank you guys for coming on. It was so much fun to chat with you.
Yes,
Likewise.
thank you.
Such a pleasure. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.